Welcome to my channel. Top fact: amazing, there is an extremely cute animal, with a face like a squirrel, a body like a duck, swimming feet and a huge tail. That is the beaver. If you think of it as a river cat, its gait is certainly nothing special. If you think of it as a smart mouse, it often gets crushed by the very trees it cuts down. And if you think that's silly, know that the beaver is the symbol of a prestigious scientific academy. So why do people love it so much? Let's find out. In 1954, New York City was experiencing a severe drought, and the forests were nearly dry. In Bear Mountain Park, one of the hardest hit areas, the rivers were cracked and dry. But in one strange area, the trees were still green and the soil was wetter than usual. What made the difference? Scientists have discovered that the reason is not groundwater or tree growth, but beavers. Before humans came along, North America, Europe, Xinjiang, Mongolia, were teeming with life, with beaver dams everywhere. Beavers, with their ever-growing teeth like squirrels, need something to chew on to keep them growing. If squirrels choose pine nuts, then beavers, they relentlessly gnaw on trees wherever they go. After felling a tree, beavers drag it back to build dams and create their own little homes. The homes are designed to be well ventilated and have the ability to store food. The entrance is underwater, forcing them to dive to enter and exit, helping them escape their natural predators. To build a dam and a house, a beaver often needs more than 100 trees. 100 trees? How is that possible? Are their teeth made of? If you notice, beavers have red teeth, while most other animals have white teeth. This is because the outer shell of their teeth contains magnesium, Mg, a colorless substance. Initially, their teeth are colorless, but over time, as more calcium, Ca, accumulates, the yellow color begins to show. But with beavers, things are different. They choose iron, Fe, to build their tooth enamel, which is what gives their teeth their red color. This means that beavers' teeth are actually made of iron, which makes them more resistant to acid than magnesium. So they never have to worry about dental problems. The acid produced by bacteria can't damage them. One more thing, is gnawing on trees, destroying forests and clogging rivers and streams environmental damage? So why do beavers help the park withstand drought? It has to do with wetlands. After the beavers build a dam, a small wetland forms. While there may not be many trees left, the area becomes home to many. Wetlands make up only 2% of the land in the United States, but they are home to 80% of the animals. These lands provide biodiversity, making the environment rich and resilient to natural disasters. So beavers are truly engineers of the earth. For 20 million years, they have been repairing and sustaining Mother Nature. This also explains why the beaver became the symbol of the prestigious Academy of Sciences. In 1904, when New York City was facing another drought, scientists brought 20 beavers from Canada and released them in Bear Mountain State Park. In 1948, after World War II, a similar situation occurred in the American West. There were plenty of parachutes and shipping crates left over from the war, and people used them to release beavers into the West. Between 1948 and 1998, at least 3,000 locations were turned into villages thanks to the beavers. In 1973, the ambassador to Mongolia imported hundreds of beavers from Canada and released them into the rivers there. However, nothing special happened. The reason is that there are three types of beavers: the American beaver, the European beaver, and the Mongolian beaver. When the American beavers were introduced to Mongolia, they were shocked by their new environment. In 2012, they decided to import 14 European beavers from Germany and release them around the capital. Last March, a Xinjiang newspaper reported that for the second time in 100 years, beavers had been photographed along the Ulan River. 5 beavers, presumably a family, had been using the ice as a dining table for 6 hours straight. They are the Mongolian beaver, a rare wildlife species that is protected at the national level. They are also a rare animal in Canada and now live a free life. Along the river, they enjoy life, watching people passing by, just like they have lived freely on this blue planet for 20 years. But hundreds of years ago, beavers were nearly extinct. The story begins in 1214, when the Mongols invaded Poland, and Europe suffered heavy losses. The Europeans were unable to defeat the Mongols, and it was pouring rain. European soldiers were ready to fight in Silesia, hoping that the complex network of rivers and marshes would slow the Mongol advance. They hoped that the rain would obscure. Despite the weather, the Mongols wasted no time. They were determined to charge into battle without hesitation. On a dreary rainy day, the Mongols suddenly attacked the Europeans. The Europeans were surprised to find that the rain did not stop the Mongols, and that they had arrived 10 days earlier than expected. While the Europeans could not see anything, the Mongols aimed accurately. Years later, they discovered each other's secret: beavers. Before humans learned how to make clothes, the Mongols and Xinjiang people learned how to use animal skins and soapy water to make felt. And they discovered that beaver skins are naturally waterproof. If you cover your roof with beaver skins, it will become waterproof. And with a beaver skin hat, you can fight in the rain without getting hurt. So people began to worship the beaver as a god, and beavers were everywhere in Europe. Napoleon's hat 500 years ago, along with those of German gentlemen, explorers, and even Sherlock Holmes, were all made from beaver skins. With such great demand, European beavers were quickly hunted to near extinction. In 1670, a British Lord Chancellor of the Admiralty complained in his diary that his new beaver skin hat was so expensive that he decided to save it for future generations. It was pure madness, a hat, but worth as much as a grave. They were crazy about beavers, but there were not enough beavers in Europe to meet the demand. Fortunately, Columbus discovered America, where beavers were plentiful. The Native Americans did not know that beaver pelts could be made into felt. They mostly ate beavers or used them for other purposes. And they ate it in a very extravagant way, only the tail meat, because they believed it was good for men's physiology. To this day, Canadians still eat beaver tails, even though they are not real beaver tails. Another way of eating is similar to the Shang dynasty in China. They burned the shoulder blades of beavers in a fire and used the cracks to predict the future. According to Cree legend, it was the beavers that led them to the Great Flood, so they did not hesitate to hunt beavers. And then the white men showed up. They wanted beaver skins, 20 beaver skins in exchange. The Indians thought the whites were stupid, but then the exchange rate changed. From 1 beaver pelt for 20 steel knives, to 20 steel knives and a gun. Then came the Beaver Wars. The French and Dutch Indians fought for decades over beavers. Eventually, both sides were reduced to a few hundred men, and the beavers fell to the whites. By the 1800s, beavers in America were nearly extinct, and drought began to set in New York City. The story goes like this: that year, the United States, they discovered that where there were salmon and rainbow trout, there were definitely beavers. If there were no beavers, there would be no fish. Why? No one understood ecology at the time, but the president knew they had to protect the beavers, because the economic benefits from exporting beavers and salmon were huge. Thanks to this, the American beaver was saved from extinction. It wasn't until the 1930s, when ecological science was discovered, that people realized that if they didn't want New York City to turn into a desert, they had to protect the beaver. And then, the beaver became the wildlife symbol of Canada, appeared on currency, and scientists began to study. First question: do beavers build dams by instinct or do they learn from their parents? It is a simple but very important question. You can adopt a baby beaver and keep it as a pet for a while. In 2020, a woman rescued a beaver from the wild and kept it as a pet. She named it as it grew. Over the next few months, its dam building instincts kicked in. It used everything in the house: shoes, blankets, towels, toys, plastic bags, hockey sticks, even jars, to build. Beaver takes 4 to 5 baths a day, eats carrots and corn. When sleeping, he chews on his blanket like a baby. But sometimes, beaver mistakes the wooden furniture in the house for plants, causing some items to break, causing damage of $500 to $600. Walls, wooden doors, and even tables and chairs are not spared. In the end, the woman built a small park in the garden for beaver. What a lucky beaver! Why do beavers build dams? Like capybaras, large herbivorous rodents, beavers are not rodents like large rats, but animals with different habits. The capybara is the largest rodent, and its droppings are a favorite food for many other animals, so it often lives in harmony with many species. On the other hand, beavers have a different lifestyle. They are not active during the day like the capybara, but are mainly active at night, like other rodents. Beavers don't just eat grass, though. They need to find a way to get enough food, so they've developed the ability to build dams. Beavers build dams to hold back water, creating wetlands that allow more grass to grow for them to eat. They also cut down trees to eat the bark and use the wood to build dams. Beaver dams are not just any small structures. The largest beaver dam, located in Wood Buffalo National Park, is 850 meters long. It is the only structure on Earth that is not made by humans and can be seen from space. Scientists say the beaver dam has been under construction since 1975 and is currently managed by several different beaver families. The project is still unfinished and could be a giant dam by 2075. Scientists have also discovered that beavers are not only genius engineers but also very good at renting. Since they do not rest in the winter, beavers build many houses in the park and rent them out. Before humans came along, there were at least 500 million beavers on Earth. One extinct species of giant beaver was the size of a bear and weighed 400 to 500 pounds. We have found a tooth that was 20 centimeters long from this species. Another species of beaver caused an almost alien mystery in the 1890s, when a number of strange, inexplicable swirling stones were discovered in the United States. Some called them ghost containers and believed they belonged to an alien civilization. Actually, these stones come from ancient beavers. These beavers built their homes underground, and these homes were filled with mud, leaving behind the stones we find. Some say that without beavers, North America might have become a desert. So how do they do this? Interestingly, beavers will bite large trees, bite them in half, and then use the wind to help them fall, because they can't control the wind. Sometimes they get crushed by the tree. Then they move on to smaller trees, connecting them to the larger trees with great precision. And so on. The river was shut. Mud from the river fills the gaps, and beavers collect rocks to make the dam stronger. Next, they use mud and grass, covering the dam to promote plant growth, making the dam stronger. A family of beavers work at night, making no noise, and then you see a wonder of nature. They maintain dams, and when they hear the sound of running water, they come to repair them. Like engineers, beavers maintain the planet's ecosystems, protecting the habitats of many species. That's enough for today. If you like this video, welcome to like, subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you for watching. See you next time.